Hello, and welcome to the Fear Channel, a channel with regular broadcasts telling the most chilling of urban legends, ghost stories, and forays into the darkest corners of the human mind. Those faint of heart, or prone to night terrors, should proceed at their own risk. Tonight's story is titled Brass Buttons. A young couple who had been looking to move for some time were delighted when they were able to purchase a house in the Stuyvesant Square section of Philadelphia. They moved into their dream home in the winter of 1889, bringing with them their 6-year-old daughter. The house was in need of refurbishing, so the little girl tended to go up to the attic to play while her parents were occupied with the repairs. The attic was actually rather nice, because the previous owners had converted it into a playroom. It even had a fireplace at one point, but it was currently boarded up. After a couple weeks of hard work, the downstairs rooms were finished. The mother, realizing that she had been neglecting their daughter, attempted to try to spend more time with her now. But the little girl seemed distracted. She would always make excuses to go back up to the attic to play alone. Exasperated, and perhaps a little hurt that the child was not being responsive to her affection, the mother finally asked, "What's so interesting up there in that stuffy room?" "It's the little boy with the shiny buttons," the child replied. "He's so much fun to play with." "What little boy?" the mother demanded, wondering if a servant child had hid away in the room. She went to investigate, but found the room empty. Certain that her daughter was just being difficult, she urged her husband to discipline the child. At her father's stern voice, the little girl became hysterical. She kept repeating that there was a little boy, and he wore a blue jacket with lots of shiny buttons on it. As her father listened, he became more and more curious. Formerly a sailor himself, he realized his daughter was describing a child's sailor suit, complete with brass buttons. The girl's father made some inquiries about the Cowderleys, the family that lived in the house before them. He learned that they had come from England, bringing their family with them, 2 boys and a girl. The youngest child, a boy, was born mentally ill. The neighbors described the youngest boy as a sweet, innocent child, but added that Mr. Cowderley was ashamed of him and tried to prevent him from being seen outdoors whenever possible. According to the boy's parents, he would often sneak out to go down to the river. One day he fell in and drowned. His body was never recovered, but his cap had been found floating in the river. Shortly after the disappearance, the Cowderleys put their house up for sale and, leaving Philadelphia, dropped out of sight. The father's suspicions were now thoroughly aroused. He accompanied his little daughter to the attic and asked her to show him where the little boy came from. She pointed to the boarded-up fireplace. Her father called in workers to open it, and then to remove the mortar that cemented up the cavity beside the chimney. After the mortar was chipped away, the corpse of a small boy was revealed. He was clothed in a little blue sailor jacket, with 4 rows of brass buttons down the front. The child's head appeared to have been crushed inward by a violent blow. It was now apparent that the youngest of the Cowderley children had not drowned. He was murdered.